American Giant makes great clothing, sweatshirts, jeans, and more right here in the U.S. Visit American-Giant.com and get 20% off your first order with code STAPLE20. That's 20% off your first order at American-Giant.com, code STAPLE20.
Hey there, this is Alexis Knight. Welcome to True Crime, the Court of Public Opinion. Here, we are going to dive into one of the most sensational cases dominating headlines right now in December of 2024. The allegations against Sean Diddy Combs. The media is abuzz with stories about lawsuits, criminal charges, and high-profile scandals. But amidst all the noise, how much of what you're hearing is grounded in fact? Do you know? Here's the deal. It is easy to get swept up in the headlines, the clickbait, and the sensationalism. But if you stop to think about it, how much of what we believe is shaped by what the media chooses to show us or chooses to leave out? In this episode, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to cut through the media fog and lay out the actual facts of Diddy's case. No spin, no slant, just the truth. And we'll see what you know versus what is actually happening. And this isn't just about Sean Combs, although it's a gigantic case right now. It's about how we, the public, consume information and form opinions. In a world where narratives can be bought and sold, it's more important than ever to think critically and ask, are you even making your own decision when you take a stance, or is someone making that decision for you? Stick with me, because by the end of this episode, you're going to have the tools to see through the noise and make up your own mind about what is really happening here. Here is what we know. Let's start with what we know for sure. No rumors, no speculation, just the facts. Sean Diddy Combs, one of the most iconic figures in the music and entertainment industry, is facing a storm of allegations. The legal troubles began with a lawsuit filed by his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, who accused him of rape, physical abuse, and coercion during their decade-long relationship. These allegations include detailed claims of forced sexual acts and physical violence, with Cassie stating she had offered Diddy the chance to settle privately before filing the suit. He refused, and the lawsuit went public. But it didn't stop there. Cassie's accusations were quickly followed by a $10 million lawsuit from Brianna Bongolan, a fashion designer who claims that in 2016, Diddy dangled her over a 17th floor balcony and molested her after one of his parties. According to reports, this alleged incident occurred at Cassie's apartment and is corroborated by her. Beyond these two cases, other lawsuits have surfaced, accusing Diddy of sexual misconduct, harassment, and even trafficking. These allegations span years and involve multiple women, some named and others anonymous. The claims paint a troubling picture of a pattern of behavior that, if proven true, could have serious legal and reputational consequences. Diddy has denied all allegations, calling Cassie's lawsuit a form of blackmail and maintaining his innocence in other cases. His legal team has been vocal, asserting that their client will be exonerated. However, the situation took a dramatic turn when video evidence allegedly linked to Cassie's claims surfaced, leading to Diddy's arrest. He is currently in custody and has been denied bail over concerns about potential witness tampering, and his trial is set for May of 2025. These are the facts as we know them, but the facts don't always tell the whole story. The media's portrayal of this case, the narratives being spun, and the role of public opinion are all critical pieces of this puzzle. We are going to explore how the media has shaped this story and how that influences what you think you know. So now let's talk about the media. If you have followed this case, you've probably seen headlines ranging from the shocking to the sensational. Phrases like 17th floor balcony assault and federal criminal charges. These phrases dominate the narrative, creating an image of a man embroiled in a web of scandal and crime. But is the media telling the whole story, or are they picking and choosing what to highlight for you? Because here's the thing. Media outlets thrive on attention. The more outrageous the headline, the more clicks and views and ad revenue they generate. In Diddy's case, the allegations are undeniably serious, but the way that they have been presented often blurs the line between fact and sensationalism. Some reports delve deeply into the details, while others focus on the most salacious elements, leaving out critical context that could change how the public views the situation. For example, the focus on Cassie's lawsuit. Some outlets highlight her detailed allegations of abuse, while others are framing the story around Diddy's denial, portraying this as a he said, she said situation. And then there is Brianna Bungolin's lawsuit, which includes corroboration from Cassie, a detail that has been emphasized in some reports, but it has been completely omitted in others. And these inconsistencies create a fragmented narrative that makes it harder for the public to discern what is true or to agree. Another layer to consider here is the disparity in how media outlets with different agendas cover the case. Tabloids lean into the drama, painting Diddy as a villain or a victim, depending on their target audience, what their audience wants to hear. More established outlets tread carefully, avoiding definitive statements about guilt or innocence, but then often failing to challenge the sensational claims that are dominating the headlines elsewhere. This selective reporting, it doesn't just shape how the public sees Diddy, it also impacts the potential jury pool and the broader conversation about justice. By focusing on certain aspects of this case while ignoring others, the media influences not only what we think about Diddy, but also what we think about the justice system itself. So where does that leave us? The media plays a powerful role in shaping public opinion, but it's up to us to look beyond the headlines. As we move into what's really going on here, remember this. The truth often lies somewhere between the lines, and it's up to us to find it. So, what is the real story? What do the facts tell us when we strip away the headlines and the clickbait and the social media noise? Sean Diddy Combs is undeniably facing serious allegations. The lawsuits from Cassie Ventura and Brianna Bungolin, as well as others that have surfaced, paint a very disturbing picture of alleged abuse and misconduct. These claims span years, involving multiple women, and have already led to Diddy's arrest and denial of bail. But what do we actually know about where he stands today? And first, let's be clear about his current legal status. Diddy is in federal custody. His trial is set for May of 25. And this isn't just about allegations. There is video evidence reportedly linked to Cassie's claims, which prosecutors may use as key evidence. His denial of bail is a significant indicator of the severity of these charges, with the court citing concerns about potential witness tampering. This means the legal system is treating these allegations with gravity, regardless of Diddy's celebrity status. And second, Diddy's legal team is pushing back hard. They have called Cassie's lawsuit a form of blackmail and have denied all other allegations, maintaining that these are only attempts to tarnish his reputation. And while it's their job to defend their client, this aggressive stance raises questions about whether their strategy is to discredit the accusers or challenge the evidence itself. And then third, while the media has amplified certain aspects of these cases, there's been less focus on Diddy's own actions behind bars. Reports suggest he's had difficulty adjusting to life in custody, even though his lawyer is out there saying he's doing great. There are alleged incidents that further complicate his image. These stories, while unverified, do contribute to the narrative that he is struggling to maintain control while in custody. Not just from his freedom, though, but from his public persona. And then there is the broader context. The media's portrayal of guilt before a trial. While allegations against Diddy are, for sure, undeniably serious, it is worth noting that none of these claims have been proven in court yet. The presumption of innocence is a cornerstone of justice. But in the court of public opinion, Diddy has already been convicted by many. So what is really happening here? Diddy is facing multiple lawsuits and a federal trial, with the stakes higher than ever for his reputation, his freedom, and his legacy. But this isn't just about him. This is about how the media shapes the narrative and how we, the public, consume it. The real question is, are we basing our opinions on facts or what we are being told to believe? This case isn't just about Sean Diddy Combs. It's about how stories are told, how they are consumed, and the role each of us plays in shaping the bigger picture. So what does this mean for you, the public? Well, first, let's look at the facts that we've laid out here. Diddy is facing multiple allegations, including lawsuits and a federal trial. These are serious claims with serious consequences. But as clear as those facts might seem, the narrative around them gets muddied by the media. Some outlets sensationalize, others sanitize, and in the process, the public is left trying to piece together what's really going on. And this is not new. The media has always had the power to influence how we perceive guilt and innocence and justice overall. But with today's 24-hour news cycle and the speed of social media, that influence is amplified. Headlines are crafted to grab your attention, not to inform you. Sound bites replace any substance. And all too often, public opinion is shaped not by the facts, but by the stories that dominate the conversation. So what can you even do about this? It starts with awareness. Recognize that every story you read, every clip you watch, it has been curated and edited and framed to fit some particular narrative. And that doesn't mean it's false, but it does mean it is not complete. We are not getting all of the information, yet we are forming full opinions. And we need to dig deeper. Read multiple sources, ones with more than one perspective. And second, we need to understand the stakes. When we let media narratives dictate our own opinions, we risk losing sight of the actual facts. And in cases like Diddy's, where the allegations are so serious, that kind of thing can have real consequences, and not just for the individuals involved, but for how we understand justice as a whole and move forward. And then finally, you can ask yourself if you're making decisions on facts, or are you being led by the voices that are the loudest? Justice is not just about courtrooms. This is about the conversations we have and the questions we are willing to ask and the accountability we demand. This is your moment to take control of the narrative, or you can accept what you are told. At the end of the day, we are each responsible for how we interpret the information we are given. In a world flooded with headlines, hot takes, and sensational claims, it's easy to fall into the trap of letting others dictate our opinions. But justice, true justice, it starts with facts, and with us, the public, demanding that those facts take center stage. Now let's bring it back to the Sean Diddy Combs case. This case is a prime example of how quickly narratives can take hold, sometimes overshadowing the truth. The media has painted a picture of scandal with accusations that are undeniably serious. But what is being said and what is actually true? This is where we are going to focus here next. The headlines are loud and clear. Phrases, like I said, 17th floor balcony assault and federal criminal charges, they dominate the news cycle. And social media amplifies these stories with hashtags and viral posts, often shaping public perception faster than the facts can even get out and catch up. Some reports frame Diddy as a dangerous predator, while others are hinting at a vendetta against him. And this creates a very polarized view. He is a hero to some and a villain to others, thus creating the public divide that we are always in, of course. But what's true? What are the facts? The allegations against Diddy are serious. They come from multiple sources. Cassie Ventura's lawsuit includes detailed accusations of rape and physical abuse, corroborated by video evidence that has reportedly surfaced. Brianna Bongolan's claims of being dangled over a balcony and assaulted further add to the weight of these cases. Beyond these, there are many other lawsuits alleging sexual misconduct, harassment, and trafficking, all painting a troubling picture for sure. Diddy's legal team has denied all allegations, framing them as opportunistic attempts to exploit his wealth and his fame. And while this defense is their right, it does not negate the gravity of the claims or the evidence presented. He remains in custody, with bail denied over concerns about that witness tampering, and he's awaiting his trial in May of 2025. Now, here's the truth. What the public believes about this case matters. It shapes the conversations, and it influences how media outlets continue covering the story, and even affects potential jury pools, if you didn't realize. But forming those beliefs requires careful consideration of the facts, not just the loudest voices in the room. This case is still unfolding, and we owe it to ourselves to remain informed and objective. As more information emerges, it is crucial to question what we hear. We need to seek out multiple sources and resist the urge to jump to conclusions after we hear that one infuriating or exciting or amazing thing. This is not just about Diddy's guilt or innocence. This is about how we as a society engage with justice in real time. The allegations against Sean Diddy Combs are not just shaping public conversations, they're raising bigger questions about how we understand justice, accountability, and the power dynamics at play in high-profile cases like this. Let's break it down further. For years, Diddy has cultivated an image of success, philanthropy, and resilience. He's been a music mogul, a fashion icon, and a cultural leader. But now that image is under attack. The media's portrayal of him ranges from damning to defensive, with some outlets painting him as a man whose past is finally catching up to him, while others suggest he's the target of a smear campaign. The duality of coverage here creates the confusion. Is Diddy a dangerous predator, as lawsuits allege, or is he a victim of his own fame, being torn down by opportunistic claims? The public is left to sift through these narratives, often without access to the full story, leaving the public to disagree with each other, confused about the facts, and not really finding a solution, and then eventually just confused by the outcome altogether. This is a pattern that is repeated over and over again. Okay, so now with this case, the Diddy case, what is true? What is the evidence and the legal standing here? Well, here is what we know. The lawsuits against Diddy are detailed. They are specific, and in some cases, corroborated by additional evidence. Cassie's claims of abuse are supported by reports of video evidence, and Brianna Bongolan's lawsuit includes testimony that aligns with other accounts. Diddy's denial of bail, typically reserved for cases with substantial concerns about tampering or flight risk, underscores the severity of this situation. While Diddy's legal team has every right to defend him, the evidence presented so far suggests a pattern of behavior that cannot be ignored. But this does not prove guilt. That is for the courts to decide. But it does highlight the importance of taking these allegations seriously and seeking out the true facts. Public opinion in cases like this is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it can drive accountability, ensuring that powerful figures are not above the law. But on the other hand, it can cloud the legal process with preconceived notions and media narratives influencing how people are perceiving justice. The public plays a unique role here. If we allow our opinions to be shaped solely by the loudest voices, whether they are defending or condemning Diddy, we risk missing the truth. And in doing so, we also risk perpetuating a system where sensationalism overrides substance. This is not just about Diddy. This is about how we as a society engage with justice when fame and wealth and power are involved. Are we willing to do the work to stay informed? Or are we content to let the headlines make up our minds for us? The answer to that question will shape not only this case, but the way we approach every high-profile trial in the future. Let's take a moment here to focus on what is not true, because in a case like this, the misinformation can be just as damaging as the allegations themselves. Here are some of the most glaring inaccuracies that are circulating right now in the media about Sean Diddy Combs. Well, number one, Sean Diddy Combs has already been convicted. This one is flat out false. Despite the serious allegations and lawsuits against him, Diddy has not been convicted of any of these crimes. He is currently in federal custody awaiting trial, which means he is legally presumed innocent until he is proven guilty. But some outlets are already treating him as though the verdict is in, using phrases like Diddy's downfall and his conviction looms. This kind of language distorts public perception, making it harder for people to engage with the facts. And we are talking about the Diddy case here, but you need to think about this for all the cases that are out there that may not have so much damning evidence in your face right away. Also, Diddy bought his way out of trouble before, and he will do it again. There has been speculation in some of the reporting out there that Diddy has used his wealth and influence to try to avoid consequences in the past. Now, while his financial resources undoubtedly give him access to top-tier legal representation, there isn't actually any evidence to support these claims that he has bribed his way out of trouble or manipulated the system. These are assumptions that sensationalize the narrative, but they have zero proof to back them up. Number 3, Cassie's lawsuit was all about the money. Some outlets, if you can believe it, are framing Cassie Ventura's lawsuit as a cash grab, even with the video that is out there. They're emphasizing the financial settlement offered before she filed her case. But this narrative ignores the substance of her allegations and the fact that she reportedly attempted to try to resolve this matter privately before going public. By focusing on the settlement figure rather than her claims, the media reduces a serious legal matter to a financial dispute, and this downplays the gravity of her accusations. Number 4, there is a smoking gun out there. A common exaggeration here is the idea that there's a piece of evidence that someone has, the smoking gun that will definitively prove Diddy's guilt. While video evidence has reportedly surfaced in connection with Cassie's claims, the specifics have not been publicly disclosed, and no single piece of evidence has actually been presented as conclusive. Yet there are some outlets that are using phrases like damning proof. This suggests that the case has already been decided. This misleads the public into thinking the evidence is more cut and dried than it may be. It has not been presented in court yet. Number 5, Diddy's career is over. This one seems like an obvious one that is just running everywhere. But this claim that marks the end of Diddy's career is still speculative. While the allegations and lawsuits have undoubtedly damaged his reputation, the entertainment industry has seen many figures survive scandals of similar magnitude. Suggesting his career is definitely over not only preempts the legal process, but this also underestimates the complexity of public and industry reactions to high-profile cases. These falsehoods do not just misinform, they erode public trust in the justice system and the media itself. When the public is fed a mix of truth and distortion, it becomes nearly impossible to discern what is real. And this isn't just unfair to those involved in the case, it's unfair to everyone who's trying to understand it. As we bring this episode to a close, let's reflect on what we've uncovered. Sean Diddy Combs is at the center of a firestorm of allegations. This is true, serious ones that demand attention and justice. But as we have seen, the media coverage around this case, it's riddled with inaccuracies, exaggerations, and sensationalism. This is not just about the facts of one case. This is about the larger problem of how narratives are shaped and consumed. Justice doesn't thrive in chaos. It requires clarity and truth and a commitment to accountability, and not just from the legal system, but from the media, and most importantly, from us, the public. The misinformation and half-truths surrounding Diddy's case highlight the need for all of us to dig deeper and question the headlines and demand better. So here is my challenge to you. Don't stop here. Follow the developments in this case. Do it critically. Seek out multiple sources and question the sensational stories. And most importantly, remember that justice is not just about the verdict. It is about the process as well. It's about ensuring that truth, not bias or influence, guides the outcome. And this case is far from over, and the conversations it sparks matter. They matter for how we view celebrity and power, for how we consume information, and how we define justice in the court of public opinion. Thank you for joining me in True Crime, the Court of Public Opinion. Stay safe out there, stay curious, and ask the difficult questions. And until next time, this is Alexis Knight.